There, the town's putting up the no vacancy signs and making visitors feel unwelcome. Victims of their own popularity, locals at tourism hotspots have had enough. It's blown up in Barcelona in Spain, but it's happening around the world, including here at home.
In a steamy European summer, tensions have been simmering. Locals sending a clear message to tourists: you're not welcome.
Huge what's called revenge travel after the pandemic.
Barcelona is being loved to death.
People being attacked, tourists being attacked with water pistols by people who feel like they're, people who live in Barcelona and feel like their lives have been impacted too much by the number of tourists coming in.
Michael Gebecki from Nine Newspapers Travel magazine has been a travel writer for more than 40 years.
There's been a big change since COVID, because before the pandemic, we felt like travel was kind of a God-given right. We could go anywhere, anytime we wanted to. COVID changed all that.
And Michael doesn't like what he's seeing.
My advice would be avoid Europe in the summer months. It's just crazy.
Justin Francis, and I'm the founder and chair of Responsible Travel,
a UK tour company which makes a yearly list of the world's most overcrowded destinations.
It started in Barcelona and Venice and Amsterdam.
And has spread to Santorini, Italy's Amalfi Coast, Japan's Kyoto, and Machu Picchu. The Dutch have introduced a zero-tolerance policy to let certain tourists know they're not welcome.
I suppose they're targeting especially, parties of young guys who come over to drink and have a good time. Good luck.
This revenge tourism is being driven by a fear of missing out after COVID and the rise of influencers.
But it has focused attention on just a few honey spot destinations, and it's been a contributor to the overcrowding. It doesn't just degrade the quality of life for local people, but it degrades the travel experience as well, and that's what concerns me. Nobody really wins.
Instagram has created this kind of this list of must-do things, and kind of a fear of missing out. So there'll be bars in New York that people just queue for hours to get into. There's even a library in Porto. Again, there's a huge queue to get into it because it's beautiful inside.
In Australia, there are places having a love-hate relationship with visitors.
Well, obviously Byron Bay. We kind of love Byron to death. Probably parts of Tasmania in the summer months. Queensland, along coastal far north Queensland.
From September, Byron is capping the number of nights private homes can be rented on Airbnb to just 60. On the New South Wales mid-coast, Seal Rocks is another small town begging people to stay away during peak periods. Even on the remote south coast of WA, 500 kilometres from Perth, the tiny town of Denmark can't cope.
There are 6,500 of us who live here more or less permanently.
And
for the last 11 months, 486,500 visitors.
Helen Spencer made her views clear with a single sign.
The hometown, not tourist town. That sign was put up at Easter time.
It got more attention than Helen thought, and her sign got flattened.
Yes, there were some of our local tourism operators that were concerned that this was basically a go-home tourist sign.
Answers are hard to come by other than travelling outside peak season or looking off the beaten track.
We are really lucky in Australia. We've got so many places, along the north coast of New South Wales. So many great towns, north, south of us. So there's no reason to crowd into these hotspots, really.
And there's far more under-tourist places than there are over-touristed places. And if you're a big fan of Instagram, all you'll see is pictures of a few places, and you'll think that's the entire world. Well, it's not. Do a little bit more research, get a little bit more creative, and you'll find some spectacular places to visit.
But need people to remember that this is our home, and it's a home that's currently under an enormous amount of pressure.